So I gotta say this before I forget. So I was imagining in my head a conversation between a neurotypical person, imaginary, and myself, an autistic person, but talking as if I represent all autistic people. And in my head, the neurotypical person said, well, I should preface this with saying that I've been working on being more grounded, and it's been super hard. So stupidly hard. But it's really improving things. It decreases my sensory sensitivity, which is like why I do have an earplug here, and I was gonna have another earplug here, but it got dirty. But I have another one right there. I could put it in if I wanted, but I don't want to. And the cap is only here so I can hold on to this hat because it's my favorite hat. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. Got it on Etsy. And so I've been grounding a lot, and I finally have been finding out that when you're grounded, at least for me, one of the mantra or affirmations that helps is to be like, okay, so focus on the outside of you instead of the inside of you. And that at first was so stupidly hard. I already said that, but you still do. Because I felt like it wasn't safe. Not safe where I was, because it's a big open space, and if I'm aware of it, I have to predict it. And not only that, if I'm aware of that instead of what I'm thinking and feeling at every moment, then I can't analyze myself to make sure I'm either masking or perfect, like to the best of my ability by my definition of perfection, where it's important for me. And so I imagined somebody who had never learned this lesson the hard way. They just all their life naturally have been like really well grounded, which I think isn't very common in our society today, but I think it used to be, like in older days, back before big cities and stuff. But so this person in my head, neurotypical, said, so if you aren't thinking about what's outside of you and just practical reality, then what on earth are you thinking about? And I answered in my mind, well, I'm thinking about I'm gonna have to do this without editing. Okay, so I'm thinking about, like, what am I thinking about? Why did that come to be? Why am I thinking that? And is that good to think about? And if not, what should I think about? And how do I get myself to think that? And that can be logic too, not just emotion. And then what are you thinking and feeling? And why? And how did that come to be? And also, what does that mean for how I can predict your behavior now as well as in the future? Like, does this have any bearing on like your like long-term personality? Like, is this something I should take into account as data so that I can predict you in the future? Think about questions, how things work, possibilities, especially in my case. Because like Myers-Briggs personality type thing rather than just like an autism thing. Like, I think about all the different possibilities of like how things could happen, different businesses I could make, different art I could make, different jokes that could happen, different scenarios, imagining people experiencing something similar. I think that part might be autistic because that helps me process it. And you think about the song in your head and maybe the other song in your head. Oh, this was the really big part. Oh, it's not the really big part, but it's one of the big parts I wanted to share. And I thought of this in the car, so like I couldn't record it then. Which is, so if you were a kid again and your mom was there, what would she be saying right now? You think of that. And if you were in grade school again and your peers were seeing what you were doing, what would they say? And if all the commenters on YouTube, this sounds like a joke, but this is real. If all the commenters on YouTube saw what you were doing, what would they be saying? And you're thinking about all that. And then in my head, the neurotypical just like summarizes it so with like, so you're kind of like just living in your head. And you're like, that was a very simplistic way of putting it. All of what I just said felt very necessary to explain to you, you imaginary neurotypical person in my head. because they said it in a slightly different tone than I said. And then I thought, but when I'm really like grounded and practical, it doesn't feel like I have to over explain things. Like, I don't know how that works. I just know it works. Like, my brain works different. It's so weird. And I don't get tired as much as I can work. And I can do laundry. I can do laundry. I haven't done my laundry, but I can. I have a lot to do, so I'd like put that on the back burner. I'd rather go use some Java programming to access some online free AIs that are commercially usable and make some passive income. Especially since I'm 25, still living with my parents, and don't have a consistent income. I mean, I've been making money with all sorts of little odd jobs, dog sitting, stuff like that. But, like, you know, it's not just I'm gonna get rich. It's, no, I'm gonna move out. Hee hee, like a normal person. If you want to say normal. Probably shouldn't have said normal. But yeah, that's what I wanted to say. That is what the neurodivergent people sometimes feel like. I'm not on Adderall, by the way, right now. Like, I have it, but I haven't been using it because since I've been grounding, I can feel like I have Adderall when I don't have it in my system. It's like when you eat way too much chocolate and you get a high from it, but like without the annoying parts. It's like really cool. So it's exciting. I love you. Oh, that's the wrong thing. What am I doing? I love you. Bye. And he loves you too.